Hello to all. Our topic for today is Anne Bakes a Cake. It is written by L. M. Montgomery. This lesson is a part of Anne of Green Gables, which is a series of novels by this writer. Anne of Green Gables, published in 1908, is a classic novel by L. M. Montgomery. It tells the story of Anne Shirley, a young orphan girl who is adopted by Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. The Cuthberts, who are brother and sister, live on a farm called Green Gables in Avonlea, Prince Edward Island, Canada. And they love Anne like a daughter. In the following story, a new minister of the church and his wife who have come to live in Avonlea. So in this story we are going to study about an orphan girl, Anne Shirley, who has been adopted by Matthew and Marilla. They both are brother and sister and they take care of Anne like a daughter. Avonlea is a small rural community and the minister is an important and influential part of it. In those days, most activities in a village revolved around the church and the minister was usually familiar with all the families in the community. So here we see that Avonlea is the name of this place, and in this place the church was very important. So the minister who was appointed in this place, he knew everybody who lived in that area and people also knew him very personally. So he used to go to these people's houses and meet them. His wife also used to play a very important role. She used to go to these small schools over there and teach them over there. So the children also knew her personally. Even this girl, Shirley, she also knew this lady, minister's wife, because this lady had also come to her school to teach. The role of the minister's wife was to work with the community and help those in need. Very often, the minister's wife would also teach in the local school. Read on to find out about the minister's visit to the Cuthberts' home. So what we are going to see in this lesson is that people in this place, Avonlea, are inviting the minister and his wife to their house because these are important people. So people want them to come to their house. So now in this story what is going to happen is that minister and his wife have been invited to Cuthbert's home. That is where Shirley used to live. We will now start the lesson. The new minister and his wife were a young, pleasant faced couple, still full of enthusiasm for their chosen life work. Avonlea opened its heart to them from the start. Everyone liked the cheerful young man and the bright, gentle lady who was his wife. Anne fell promptly in love with Mrs. Allen. She had discovered another kindred spirit. So here we see that people of Avonlea used to love these two new persons, that is the church minister and his wife. And Anne also used to like Mrs. Allen because she felt that they both had similar kind of thinking and interest. Mrs. Allen is lovely, she announced. She has taken our class and she is a splendid teacher. She said we could ask her any question we liked, and I asked so many. I'm good at asking questions, Marilla. I believe you, was Marilla's reply. I suppose we must have Mr. and Mrs. Allen to tea soon, said Marilla reflectively. I've heard they have been everywhere but here. Let me see. Next Wednesday would be a good time to have them. So in this paragraph we see that Anne and Marilla are talking to each other. Anne tells Marilla that Mrs. Allen had come to her school and she had taken a class, and Anne liked that lady, Mrs. Allen. And now Anne and Marilla are discussing that they must also invite Mrs. Allen and her husband to their home because everybody in Avonlea had already invited them and they had still not called them to their home. So now they are wondering when they should call them. So they finally decide that next Wednesday would be a good idea to invite them. Oh, Marilla, will you let me make a cake? Said Anne. I'd love to do something for Mrs. Allen, and you know I can make a good cake. You can make a layer cake, promised Marilla. So now they are talking about what preparations they have to make. Anne is very excited because her favorite teacher is about to come, and so she wants to make a cake for her. Throughout Monday and Tuesday, great preparations went on at Green Gables. So, Green Gables is the place where they used to live. Having the minister and his wife to tea was an important matter, and Marilla was determined not to be outdone by any of the Avonlea housekeepers. Anne was wild with excitement. She talked it over with her friend Diana as they sat on the big red stones by the Dryad's Bubble. So Monday and Tuesday they had 2 days for making the preparations, and Marilla did not want to be beaten by anybody else. She wanted to be as good as the other members of their community at inviting the minister and his wife. And Anne was also very excited. She went to her friend also. She discussed it with her friend that what preparations they are making. So they both met at a place called Dryad's Bubble. Everything is ready, Diana, except my cake, which I am to make in the morning, and the baking powder biscuits, which Marilla will make. Oh, Dinah, Marilla and I have had a busy 2 days of it. I've never had such an experience before. You should see our pantry. We are to have two kinds of jelly, red and yellow, and whipped cream, and lemon pie, and cherry pie, and three kinds of biscuits, and fruit cake, and Marilla's famous yellow plum preserves that she keeps especially for ministers, and pound cake and layer cake. So these are the different preparations that they are going to make for the minister and his wife. So as they are very excited, they want to be very good at this, so they have made so many dishes to invite the minister and to welcome him. I just grow cold when I think of my layer cake. Oh, Dinah, what if it isn't any good? So now in this line, Anne expresses her anxiety. She has become very nervous when she thinks that she has to make a layer cake. She becomes very nervous because she is not sure whether it will come out good or not. It'll be good, all right, said Dinah. So Dinah, her friend, tries to console her. She tells her that everything will be all right. You must be confident of yourself. Yes, but cakes have such a terrible habit of turning out badly just when you want them to be good, sighed Anne. However, I suppose I shall have to trust that it will turn out well. So Anne is still very unsure that whether the cake will be good or not, because she says that at times cake also become bad. When you want them to be good, at that time they usually turn out bad. Wednesday morning came. Anne got up at sunrise because she was too excited to sleep. She had caught a severe cold by playing in the spring the previous evening, but nothing short of pneumonia could have stopped her that morning. After breakfast, she proceeded to make her cake. When she finally shut the oven door, she drew a long breath. So now it was Wednesday morning, and Anne got up too early because she did not want to waste her time in sleeping. And because a few days back a few days back she had met her friend at Dryad's Bubble, because she had been playing in the spring over there, she had got a severe cold now. So she was a little bit sick, but still she wanted to prepare for the minister, so she went on with her work. She prepared the cake batter and everything, and then she put it in the mold, and then she kept it inside the oven and closed it. After that, she took a long breath and she was relieved that now her work is finished and she can relax for a while now. I'm sure I haven't forgotten anything this time, Marilla. But do you think it will rise? Just suppose the baking powder isn't good. Mrs. Lynde says you can never be sure of getting good baking powder nowadays, Marilla. What if the cake doesn't rise? So now they are wondering that how will the cake turn out, whether the baking powder was good or not. We'll have plenty without it, was Marilla's way of looking at the problem. The cake did rise, however, and came out of the oven as light and feathery as golden foam. Anne clapped it together with layers of ruby jelly and imagined Mrs. Allen eating it and asking for another piece. So after the baking process was over, She opened the oven door and she took out the cake, and she saw that the cake was looking very good as she had expected. So after that she put some jelly on top of it to decorate the cake, to make it more pleasant for the visitors. "You'll be using the best tea set, of course, Marilla," she said. "And can I set the table with ferns and wild roses?" "I think that's all nonsense," sniffed Marilla. "Mrs. Barry had her table decorated," said Anne. "Well, do as you like," said Marilla, "but leave enough room for the dishes and the food." Anne did decorate the table, and in such a manner that when the minister and his wife sat down to it, they exclaimed together over its loveliness. So now the time had come. The minister and his wife have now arrived at their house, and they are sitting at the table, and they look at the preparations and the decorations that Anne have done for their welcome. So they are very surprised to see how beautifully it has been done, and they want to know who has done this. So Marilla tells them, "It's Anne's handiwork," said Marilla, and Anne felt that Mrs. Allen's approving smile was almost too much happiness for this world. And so when Marilla told them that Anne has done all this decoration, she was so happy and so proud of herself that she felt that she has got the happiness of the whole world. All went as well as could be, until Anne's layer cake was passed around. Mrs. Allen helped herself to a plump triangle, as did also the minister and Marilla. So now everything was going very good, and after some time Anne's layer cake was distributed. So Mrs. Allen also took a piece of it, then the minister and Marilla also cut out a piece of that cake. Mrs. Allen took a mouthful of hers, and a strained expression crossed her face, but she didn't say a word and steadily ate away at it. Marilla saw her expression and quickly tasted the cake. So now here what is happening, that Mrs. Allen took a bite of the cake, and then she felt something strange, but she did not say anything. She kept on eating, and but Marilla saw what expression was on her face. She understood that something strange has happened. So she also quickly tasted the cake, and when she tasted, she was furious. She shouted, "Anne Shirley!" she exclaimed. "What on earth did you put into that cake?" So when she tasted the cake, she was shocked that it tasted so bad. "Nothing but what the recipe said, Marilla," said Anne. "Isn't it all right?" So Anne was now wondering that what has happened. Why are they shouting? "All right? It is simply horrible. Mrs. Allen, don't try to eat it. And taste it yourself. What flavoring did you use?" "Vanilla," said Anne, her face red with embarrassment after tasting the cake. So Marilla asked Anne that what had she added, and she tells that she had only added vanilla, but when she tasted it, she realized that she has definitely made some mistake. "Only vanilla? Oh, Marilla, it must have been the baking powder." And now, even now, Anne is not able to understand that she has made a mistake. She's thinking that maybe baking powder was bad. "Baking powder? Go and bring me the bottle of vanilla you used." Anne fled to the pantry. So, pantry is the place where all the kitchen material and ingredients are kept, and returned with a small bottle filled with a brown liquid and labeled "Best Vanilla." So she came back with a small bottle, and on it was written "Best Vanilla." Marilla took it, uncorked it, and smelled it. "Oh, Anne, you flavored that cake with anodyne liniment?" "I broke the liniment bottle last week and poured what was left into an old empty vanilla bottle. I suppose it is partly my fault. I should have warned you." "But why couldn't you have smelled it?" So now Marilla accepts her mistake, that she had broken the medicine bottle once, and because it was broken, the liquid had come out, and so she used an empty vanilla bottle to put that medicine into it. So, and she never told Anne about it, that in the vanilla bottle it was a medicine. So she asked Anne that even if it was medicine inside the vanilla bottle, she should have smelled it. Why did she not smell it? Anne burst into tears under this double disgrace. So, because now she had realized her mistake, that she had put a medicine into a cake, she was very upset with her mistake and she started crying. I couldn't. I had such a cold. And with this, she fled to her room, where she threw herself on the bed and wept. So then she told them that she was not able to smell the medicine because she was suffering from cold. Soon a light step sounded on the stairs and somebody entered the room. So somebody is going towards the room where Anne is crying, and Anne thinks that it is Marilla who has come to see her. Oh, Marilla, sobbed Anne without looking up. I'm disgraced forever. I shall never be able to live this down. Diana will ask me how my cake turned out, and I shall have to tell her the truth. I shall always be pointed at as the girl who flavored the cake with anodyne liniment. So here Anne tells the person that she is very ashamed of her. She will now have to tell her friends also. Dinah will also come to know that she had made such a big mistake by adding a medicine to a cake. The boys in school will never get over laughing at it. So she is also afraid that the boys of her school will also laugh at her. Oh, Marilla, I cannot ever look Mrs. Allen in the face again. Perhaps she'll think I tried to poison her. But the liniment isn't poisonous. Won't you tell Mrs. Allen so, Marilla? So now Anne is also worried about Mrs. Allen, that she might be thinking that she has added some poison into the cake. Maybe she has done it maybe she has done it intentionally to poison her. Suppose you tell her so yourself, said a kind voice. Anne jumped up to find Mrs. Allen standing by her bed, looking at her with laughing eyes. So now, when the person speaks, Anne finds out that it was not Marilla who had come, it was Mrs. Allen who had come to her room. My dear little girl, you mustn't cry like this, she said. It is all just a funny mistake that anybody might make. Oh no, it takes me to make such a mistake, said Anne sadly, and I wanted to make such a nice cake for you, Mrs. Allen. So now Anne is very upset that she had made so many preparations. She had invited Mrs. Allen. She also used to like Mrs. Allen, and she made a mistake in the cake that she had made for her. Yes, I know, dear, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness just as much as if it had turned out all right. Now you mustn't cry any more, but come down with me and show me a flower garden. Anne permitted herself to be led down and comforted. So after a while, after talking to Mrs. Allen, she felt a bit more relaxed and comfortable now, and then they both came down the stairs. Nothing more was said about the liniment cake. So after that, nobody talked about that cake, and when the guests went away, Anne found out that she had enjoyed the evening more than she had expected, but she sighed deeply. Marilla, isn't it nice to think that tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it yet? So now here Anne is talking to Marilla and she is wondering that tomorrow is a new day and I still haven't committed any mistakes also. So she is proud of herself that she has not done any mistake in a day which hasn't come even yet. I'll guarantee you'll make plenty in it, said Marilla. So Marilla is also very sure that though the day has not come, she will make mistakes tomorrow also. I have never seen such talent for making mistakes, Anne. Yes, I know, said Anne. But have you ever noticed one encouraging thing about me, Marilla? I never make the same mistake twice. So she is very proud of herself. She says that you should also see this thing that I don't make a mistake twice. I always make new mistakes. I don't know if that's any good when you're always making new ones. Oh, don't you see, Marilla? There must be a limit to the mistakes one person can make, and when I get to the end of them, then I'll be done with them. That's a very comforting thought. So Anne thinks that there are limited number of mistakes. That is, you cannot commit more than this much number of mistakes. And when one day will come when all the mistakes have been done, after that no other mistake can be made. So she is waiting for that day to come, that when she will not be making any new mistakes. Well, you'd better go and give that cake to the pigs, said Marilla. So at the end of the chapter we see that after the guests had gone away, They decided to give the cake to the pigs because it could not be eaten because of the bad taste of the medicine in it.